Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna share all my thoughts on Under the Whispering Door. Spoiler, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So if you want to know what I thought, if you want to just hang out, chat reading, chat books, grab your coffee, grab your tea, and let's get cozy. Okay, welcome back. If you're new here, I am Emily Jean, and today I wanted to chat about Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. So, The House in the Cerulean Sea was one of my most favorite books of the year so far. I gave it 5 stars, and I will link that full review down below. But I was really excited when I saw that a new one was coming out and that the theme was like a little bit darker or a little bit heavier. And I have to say, I didn't, even though it dealt with the concept of death and dying and transitioning and what does that mean, leaving our life behind, I didn't necessarily feel that it was heavy. Um, I still felt this beautiful energy, and TJ Klune is a master at creating this atmosphere that you just want to live in and you don't want to leave. For A House in the Cerulean Sea and Under the Whispering Door, I was very slow to finish it because I did not want to leave that world. I wanted to finish it, I wanted to keep picking it up, but I also didn't want to do it too fast because I knew that the world would be gone or I wouldn't be actively in it anymore. So for me, that's what marks a true read that I love, that I will always recommend, is that atmosphere and feeling like those characters truly have a place in my heart. And TJ Klune is just a magician with this. So these are the only 2 books I've read of his. I want to go back and read some of his older ones and see if they're in the same style or not, because I have no idea. Did he develop into this? Is this a newer style of writing, or has he always had this ability to make you feel so connected to characters and story and the atmosphere and houses in general? So, if you aren't familiar with this book, Under the Whispering Door is about a ferryman named Hugo who's like a ferryman between death, and he really helps spirits who have recently died and are resisting that death process to cross over. And we meet this really gnarly, kind of cruel, detached businessman who passes from a heart attack. This all happens very, very early in the book, so no spoilers on that part. And he passes and he's brought to this ferryman place, and it's just this beautiful story of how he comes to terms with that. It's a story about family and community and the power of change and perspective, and also what it looks like when we can't come to terms with death, what it looks like when there is resistance around that, and how that can energetically continue after death. And so I thought that it was really beautifully written. And for Christmas, I asked for, this is the most I've ever spent on just 2 books, but I asked for the special edition Illumicrate signed versions of Under the Whispering Door and House in the Cerulean Sea, because I read both of them as library books. And I want my own copies because I'm obsessed, and I know I always will be. I know that these will be rereads. I know that I'll recommend them to friends. So I got the Illumicrate special editions. I'll share once I've opened them after Christmas, but they look just stunning, gorgeous. I really liked the font on those covers versus the ones that are available, like the regularly published ones, I guess. And then I have a couple of notes to share from the book, and I forgot to grab my phone with the notes, so I'm gonna go grab that and be right back. Okay, I'm back. So there may be some spoilers here, so this would be a good time to hop off if you don't want to hear any spoilers. If you don't mind spoilers or you've already read, I would love to hang out and chat some of the more specifics with you. But before you hop off, if you don't want spoilers, I would recommend this if you loved House in the Cerulean Sea, or if you love fantasy elements in your fiction that have a heavy dose of romance, but it's more like friendship romance. It's very heavy on the friendship, on the development. It's not like a spicy romance. It's a very heartwarming, heartfelt romance. And friendship is a huge theme in this book too. So not just about having romantic connections, but how do we build those real, true, lifelong friendship connections. So I would recommend this if you like heartwarming, heartfelt, really interesting character development, friendship, romance energy. And who would I not recommend it to? If you don't like those things, if you don't like heartwarming stories, if you don't like any romance at all, I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, it's just such a beautifully written story. Okay, so spoiler time. My first note was atmosphere is so good, so simple and hygge. I think about it during the day and look forward to reading it at the night. Like, I was looking forward at nighttime to be like, oh, I get to hang out in the house. I get to be with Hugo and Wallace and May. Oh my God, I think her name's May. Oh my God, and the uncle. It was all so good. I loved all the characters. And there was a dog. I mean, all the characters were amazing. So I wanted to be in that atmosphere. I wanted to go there. It's one of those books where you forget you're reading. You're just there. You're just experiencing it, which is so beautiful. And then page 169 to 172, the whole Ouija board scene was so good. It was just so good. I loved everything about it. I loved the way they messed with the characters. I loved the way they communicated through the Ouija board and with the other energy. He was so funny in his responses when he said, what did he say about autocorrect? Because he was trying to figure out as a ghost how to use his fingers to move the Ouija board, and he misspelled something, and then the next thing that he spelled out was darn autocorrect. Oh, it was just so good. I think that was I really started to truly appreciate Wallace's sense of humor and just how much his heart had opened since the beginning of the book. And then my last note was on page 276, after the manager came and told him he only had a week left. Why wouldn't he just tell them that the manager came? I hate stuff like this, when communication could solve so much, or at least not leave you alone with such big information. Is he trying to be a martyr? And then I went, a parter? Can a man be a martyr? Which I looked up, and yes, martyr is not exclusive to women, which I'm not exactly sure why I thought that, but anyways, was he trying to be a martyr? But the more I feel into it, I understand now. He didn't want anybody else to feel the pain that he was going through. It was a way of kind of protecting them. And what made this okay for me, that it was only 4 pages later that he told them. And on page 280, I said, oh, thank goodness he told them so they could move forward and communicate. But I do get really frustrated in books when it seems, especially for like hundreds and hundreds of pages, that one conversation could clear up so much and then we could progress forward. Like, just talk and clear it up. But how many times does that really happen in real life too, right? Like, how many times, if we just said something or we just communicated something, could it clear up? But we have all these things that go through our mind. So that was my last official note on it, but this was an incredible read, one that I will remember, that sticks with me for a long time. As far as CAWPILE went, I gave it 10 for characters, 10 for atmosphere, writing was a 9, plot was a 9, intrigue and logic were an 8. I mean, 8's still really high for intrigue, but it was more about the atmosphere and the relationships for me and less about like the mystery part of it, although that was enjoyable for sure. And then 10 for enjoyment. So that rounded up to 9.14, which was 5 stars. Love. I will pick up anything by TJ Klune going forward, and I'm going to go back and pick up some of his older ones. I actually just got one on Kindle. Let me give you the name of that. Okay, so the one that I just got for Kindle because it sounded like it might have the atmosphere kind of piece that I love is called The Bones Beneath My Skin. It has 4.39 stars on GoodReads. Let me pull up the description. Okay, so the description. In the spring of 1995, Nate Cartwright has lost everything. His parents are dead, his older brother wants nothing to do with him, and he's been fired from his job as a journalist in Washington, D.C. With nothing left to lose, he returns to his family's summer cabin outside the small mountain town of Roseland, Oregon, to try and find some sense of direction. So, we have a cabin, which makes me think we might have another location that I could fall in love with. The cabin should be empty. It's not. Inside is a man named Alex, and with him is an extraordinary little girl who calls herself Artemis Darth Vader. Artemis, who isn't exactly as she appears. Soon it becomes clear that Nate must make a choice. Let himself drown in the memories of his past or fight for a future he never thought possible, because the girl is special, and forces are descending upon them who want nothing more than to control her. So I think hopefully we'd fall in love with Artemis, Alex, Nate. Like, I just am hoping for similar vibes. So we'll see. If you guys have read any other TJ Klune stuff, definitely let me know. I'm super curious to dig into some more. I think he's given little teasers that something else is coming out in 2022, so I'll definitely pick that up. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for hanging out, and hopefully I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye, guys.